welcome to my third tutorial video where I'm going to do exercise on principle of homogeneity. So principle of homogeneity states that dimension on left hand side must equal to dimension on right hand side. So in this video we're going to try three questions to check either it is dimensionally correct or it is dimensionally incorrect by following the principle of homogeneity. Okay, let's start with the first question where we have 1 over f equal to n minus 1 times with 1 over r1 plus 1 over r2. So f is the focal length and r1 and r2 is the radii of curvature. Okay, so it asks to prove either the equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, so by using the principle of homogeneity, we need to check either the dimension on left hand side equal or not with the dimension on the right hand side. Okay, let's start with left hand side where we have 1 over focal length. Okay, don't forget to write it in a bracket. Okay, since that is the method on how we denote the dimension of a physical quantity. Okay, so since focal length is also equal to length, so it can be expressed as capital letter R. Okay, that is the dimension for length. So 1 over f, the dimension of 1 over f will equal to R negative 1. Don't forget, n is dimensionless. So for right hand side, we just left with 1 over r1 plus 1 over r2, and both the radius is also equivalent to length. Okay, so we can write the dimension for both radius as r negative 1 plus r negative 1. So the final equation, okay, that we're going to express is for left hand side we have r negative 1 and it equal to the right hand side, that is also r negative 1. Therefore, left hand side is equal to right hand side. So we can prove that the equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, next we look at our second question where we have f equal to 1 over 2 pi square root g over r. Okay, so f refers to frequency, g is gravitational acceleration, and r is length. Okay, so first we start with left hand side. So left hand side we have the dimension of frequency. So we need to write it in a bracket. Okay, so frequency also can be expressed as bracket 1 over t or 1 over period. Okay, so this 1 over period can be expressed as capital letter T. Okay, negative 1. So that is for the dimension on the left hand side. While for right hand side, 1 over 2 pi is dimensionless. Okay, so for right hand side, we only have the dimension of square root g over r. Okay, or I express it as bracket g, that is bracket of the gravitational acceleration to the power of positive 1 over 2 times with the dimension of length to the power of negative 1 over 2. Okay, remember in the previous video, we already derived the dimension for gravitational acceleration. So it is dimension of displacement multiplied with dimension of time to the power of negative 2. Okay, so both dimension we need to power it with 1 over 2 because it refers to the gravitational acceleration. Okay, and then we multiply it with the dimension of length, that is to the power of negative 1 over 2. This dimension can be expressed as capital letter of R to the power of 1 over 2 times with capital letter of T to the power of -1 and capital letter of R to the power of -1/2. So the final dimension on the right hand side will be capital letter of T to the power of -1. So we can conclude that left hand side is equal to the right hand side, which follow the principle of homogeneity. So we can conclude that or state that the equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, so let's continue with question 3, where we have s equal to ut plus half at squared. So for left hand side and right hand side, this is the method on how we do the dimension for the physical quantity. Okay, so if you want to prove either left hand side equal to right hand side, look at the video on how to do it. So we can conclude that the final dimension for right hand side will be 3/2 bracket s, okay, or we can express it as capital R. So left hand side equal to right hand side. So we can state that the equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, so that's all for principle of homogeneity, where we have discussed 3 questions and all the questions have proved that all the equation is dimensionally correct.